Alrighty, hi everyone, and welcome to Open Farm Days again. This one is all about navigating resources, and each year we have a lot of people that are wondering where you can find all our information and how to get around the website. So we're using this opportunity just to give a quick snapshot of where you can find things and how you can get around. Our dates, as I think all of you know, are August 19th and 20th, and our registration is now open. We do have some simplified registration stuff, so feel free to get your registration in early, and we can kind of move forward and look at our planning. As always, Open Farm Days is about that educational, authentic experience and growing ag tourism in Alberta. So we're going to kind of continue with much of the same things, but of course, as with each year, we have a few new things as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about who our team is, and then Nicola is going to walk us through the back end of Open Farm Days and where our resources are kind of hiding for some of you that haven't been able to find where the places are. All right, so Suzanne, who's on our call here, she's in charge of all the big picture stuff. Of course, she's really busy right now organizing the ACE conference, which will be happening in February. So take a look if you're interested in that. And really, if you've got some questions about Open Farm Days, we can find from Suzanne, you can get checklists for training and hosting on your farm, coaching and support for your Open Farm Days events, training support for permitting for AHS, AGLC, anything around media marketing. So it's all big picture stuff. So she's happy to talk to you and work with you and learn a little bit more about some of those resources. In particular, she specifically manages anything to do with portable toilets and any information on that, profile updates, contacts for local ag societies. And I know a number of the farms have been kind of reaching out and looking to build those stronger clusters and work with more neighbors. So those are great things that you can speak directly with Suzanne about. And Nicola, who's going to walk us through all of our assets and everything on the back end. Nicola is amazing in spreading all the word about Open Farm Days. So working on our Facebook page, our Instagram, our Twitter, our website, pulling all of those sort of forward-facing pieces out there. So if you've got any questions about that, she's the one to talk to. Of course, Nicola also runs our programs on how you can kind of up some of your social media skills, how you can really promote some of your own projects that you're working on. So really do take a look at some of that stuff. I think it's some marvelous materials that Nicola's put together for us. She also is in charge of the advertising and digital media buys. She works with different writers in that. So when you are doing your registration, you check the box that you're willing to talk to people out there and you're interested in media stories, then Nicola's your one. And social media marketing and influencer marketing. So lots of great stuff out there. Nicola is your person. And lastly, there's me. I do a lot around some of the training elements, helping with some of those food stories and things that you're trying to do out there, helping with Alberta Health Services, Alberta Liquor and Gaming, working on getting the permitting that you might need to make all of these things happen. So really happy to talk to you about some of your ideas of what you want to do for food, or if you need different connections, whether it be chefs or with AGLC and AHS, happy to do that. So all of these resources, though, you can talk to us directly, but there's a lot of material that you're going to find that's in the website, and it's kind of hidden in that host section. So I know a lot of people aren't logging on, and that's what today is all about. So we're going to move to the next slide. You can find information about Open Farm Days in many different places. So there's lots of different ways to connect with us and also to connect with other farms that are doing things. Obviously, we have our website. I think some of you'll notice that it went through a major refresh last year. So we're starting to build some new capacity, and you're going to see some of those new tools. Also, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, so lots of different ways to connect with us, make sure you're tagging us, you're including us. These are things that can really help you to grow. And what Nicola is going to do now is take us straight into the back end of Open Farm Days so you know how to access it and you can work your way around.
Hi, everybody. So this won't take, I don't think today is going to be the full hour. It's actually quite simple to go through, but we're just going to go through, and a lot of it is going to be you going in there and playing around with it a little bit. We're just going to take a quick tour. So what we're going to talk about today is why we created the resources, how to get there, downloads for your event, videos, so where you can access past training and other tools, so things that you can look for on the site. So why the host resources? So Open Farm Days is an incubator program for producers to get involved in agritourism. So what you'll find is, and many of you that are here are first time or new to agritourism and new to inviting people onto your farm for farm events, farm dinners, etc. And what we want to do is help you get there. So, maybe you'll go, is Rick here today? I was like picking on him. You go to a position where you're like Rick from, and he will have more events. Like he does this on the regular, but this is an incubator program to help you get to the place where you can do them on your own, in addition to Open Farm Days. So we provide training, marketing, connections with chefs, and AGHS, AGLC to help producers create the connections with consumers through their on-farm events. And our goal is to provide as much information as possible so that you can do that, so you can navigate it on your own. You don't need to wait for us. In August, people were waiting days for emails back to us because we were getting over 100 emails a day. So this way you're able to find this information on yourself and not sometimes have to wait to get back from us. And then you can learn on your own pace, or if you have a question, sometimes it's easy if you just go back and watch a video and then you have that information there at your hands. So this little guy is telling us so how to get there. We will walk through this in a minute. So I just want to just quickly walk you through the steps, and then we'll go and do it ourselves. So when you go to the Open Farm Days website, look at the top right hand of the scene. So our Open Farm Days website is consumer facing, and then there's a separate website on the back end just for our farms. So if you go to the website, there's an area there, and it says right here, host farm resources, and that will take you to the website specifically designed for our farms. Once you get there, you'll get our landing page. Now, there are two areas of our landing page that are one that you don't need a password for, and one that you do need a password for. On this page, it just gives you information, just very general information. This page is for people that are interested in Open Farm Days, that are a farm, that are kind of, do they want to participate this year? So we have lots of information on there for farms who are thinking about it, but are not sure. When we want to get to the resources, which is where we're going to go today, you will need a password to get there. If you've got a pen handy, the password here is capital O, capital F, capital D, capital H, and then host. It's just OFD host, but then capital H. And the reason why we have that is a lot of this information that we're providing for host farms is proprietary, and this is information that we've gathered over the years that we have collected, that we have found has been helpful. So this isn't just random information. This is information that we have curated for you guys. And then we've also provided lots of downloads as well. So that includes checklists, that includes downloadable forms that you can print for your people coming to your event. So that would be like, so you can calculate how many people visited. We've got information and blogs from people that had participated in Open Farm Days before as a host farm, and some of their tips and tricks. So that's all in there. And then all the forms that you will need for AHS and AGLC are all in here as well. And then I told you this was going to be fast. And then our videos. So all of our training videos, especially the ones over the last year, are all on the website. That's also password protected. And that goes from everything from marketing to AHS training sessions that they've put on for us. And it's really good if you're not quite sure what to do, or so let's just use AHS as an example. They've come and they've made a presentation to us specifically around what it is that you need and why you need those things for an event on your farm. So if you're questioning like, well, do I really need an AHS website. TANIS is a great resource, but there's also a video on the back end here that to explain to you maybe in more detail of why those things are needed. And then other tools. And that's it. That's the end of my boring presentation. So now we're just going to go straight into the website, and so you can take a look here. So this is the main, I'm just going to go to the main site here. So this is the main website for Open Farm Days. There is a register now if you wanted to register there. And we've got all these different buttons here, which you can kind of play with, our blogs, and then our partners. What you want to do is go to the very top and where it says host farm resources, and then click on there. So this is the page that I was telling you about. That is the landing page that doesn't really have a ton of information. It's more for farms that are interested in participating. Here we've got our early host registration form. We've got a video here from a past participant, Good Morning Honey, on, you know, is participating in Open Farm Days for you? As they mentioned, having an Open Farm Days event is not a small feat. It's like having a big wedding on your farm. It's a big deal. And so they talk through about, you know, what that meant for their farm. And then a quiz, is my farm ready for Open Farm Days? What we want to do then is go on to, well, we can go on to the next page here, which is post registration. And then right now we're doing early registration. We'll have more information about that coming. So if you're on our email, you will get information on that, what happens next. But basically our early registration is a placeholder for you. And that just lets us know that you're interested in participating. And if we need more information from you going forward, that we will be contacting you for that. But this is where we really want to be here. So scooch over to host resources, and there's two drop downs: host resources and event submission. Event submission is a new tool that we have this year, late 2022, early 2023, where if you're hosting an event on your farm and you would like us to help promote it, I know there's some farms that are having events right now. If you put that through there, then we can help submit that, and it ends up on our website, which is also good for SEO. We have a pretty robust website that has good Google rankings, so having that backlink to us, not gonna brag, is pretty good. But where we want to go today is the host resources section. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm already logged in, so it might not need the password. Yeah, it doesn't need the password, but what will happen is you'll get logged in here, it'll ask for the password, and it will take you to this page. So this page is the page that has everything that you will need in terms of forms, in terms of downloads. We've got our register button. We've got our packages here for special events packages, you know, liquor for farmers markets, these kinds of things. And these will be updated as we go along and as we get more information for the 2023 year. So some of this information is from last year, but will be updated regularly as we get that information. So it's always a good idea to come back and check here. This other resources section is where we have all the downloads. So I'm going to go through them. If you have any questions, I don't know if I can see. Yeah, but maybe Tanis, if you could get the questions, and then I can go through them if we need to. So the first thing is, this one's been updated, is the communications toolkit for 2023. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click on this and it will update it. We've got our Facebook group. So if you wanted to join our Facebook group with all the other farms, you can join through here. My only request is that there's questions when you come into the Facebook group, if you can complete them, just so that I know that you're a host farm. We get a lot of people, consumers wanting to join the group. And unless I know that you're a farm, I can't let you in, because I don't really want consumers in there. It's not the place for them. It's a place just for our host farms. And then producer tips from past farms that have participated in Open Farm Days. You might recognize the Jungle Farm. They're now a rather large ag tourism operation that used to participate in Open Farm Days. So I'm just going to click on this just so you can see. Pressing on all the buttons, nothing will kill you, nothing will stop the website. So this one is a checklist for open farm days, all the things that you can look at. This is something that you can print and refer to if you want to set up a folder.
Yeah, so I think
I think someone needs to.
it was like a T, but and then it go in the weld to the like you can weld. We can do it either way. Weld it into the pipe, right? Like drill the hole and weld, or put
Can I
a T
still
in
make sure
and
everyone's
do it that way
muted?
with the reducer. And then it was like the same idea.
So the next one is
Like
our
a
survey.
screw.
Oh, sorry, did you miss me then for a second? So this is the post that was created last year for consumers that would come to your farm. And they would scan it and tell us about their experience during open farm days. And they were entered to win into a $250 gift card credit, which was provided by our sponsor, Service Credit Union. And they could use that gift card credit at any of the farms that they visited over open farm days. So again, in 2023, you will find something similar that you can print here and then use at your farm. We have some more resources here. So a getting started calendar, a guest signing sheet. If you don't have a Square Reader, we've got information here on selling with this Square Reader. This is personal to my heart. This the Open Farm Days posters and assets. So last year, we recognized that we were slow to get to the resources last year mailed out for many reasons. And one of the reasons that we have shortened the length of registration this year is that we would have people were registering in July, and then we couldn't get the resources out in time because we didn't have a final list. And so this year we are shortening the length of registration so that we can get the final list and get everything printed and shipped out as soon as we can. So we're not running into that problem of having the posters sent out late. But in addition, if you're looking for those assets, they are here on the back end of the website. We have a new branding for this year, so there'll be new posters for 2023. And we'll have the posters and postcards and the new assets on there. And then underneath here, we'll have the logo. And a lot of farms create their own branding, which is amazing. What we just asked you, if you're using the Open Farm Days logo, that you not alter our logo or our branding in any way, that you just kind of include our logo onto your posters and that you don't change the colors or what have you. Here we've got our Open Farm Days by the number. So if you're interested in how Open Farm Days did last year, that's all in here. Some different information from our partners. And here we've got some more information. And here we've got more information here on our safety, AGLC, HS licensing, our regional. Last year we did our honey floss, the information on that is there. And then lastly, our post-event documents. So this was our visitor survey, and we also had on here was our farm survey from last year. So if you're looking for the farm survey last year, we won't right now, it's been taken down, but that will be on the website as well. So almost everything that you could possibly need for Open Farm Days will be on the back end of this website. And lastly, we've got our videos. So this is where, again, this is a protected link here, but this will have all the videos that we've created over the last year. So these are all fresh. Well, since March 2022, I doubt any of this information has changed around special events licensing, getting a liquor license, artisan licenses. All of our marketing videos that we did last year are on there. Nothing has really changed in terms of marketing. We've got one coming up with the trends, but these are all very basic marketing principles that are not out of date. They'll be in date for a couple of years until things change again. So all your AHS training sessions, your marketing. We recently had a training session with Service, and they did one on financing your side hustle. So is there, do you need to get a loan or what have you for this. And then a big question that keeps coming up is insurance. And we actually had our insurance broker come and do a session with us on what does agritourism insurance look like. So that's basically it. Is there any questions that, oh yeah, no, the password should be OFD host. I'm just gonna write it in here, OFD host. Make sure there's no like spaces or exclamation points on either end or periods. That should get you in. Oh, I'm not quite sure what that is. That might need. No, that should work. Okay, I'll look into that, why that's not working, Jess, but all those videos should work there. I will look into that for you, but they should work. Sometimes it's like a clearing your cache and then restarting it, which I know is a really annoying, response, but sometimes that's just how that is. So that's about it. I knew that this was going to be a short session, but it's an important session so that farms know that we are providing resources, because what we want to do is help you guys. Our job is to help you. We don't want you going in this blind, but sometimes it's easier for you, especially you know, in the wintertime when you're not out seeding, to kind of get this information now versus when in crazy busy time. So are there any questions? Are there any questions about Open Farm Days for 2023 or registration or anything like that? You guys are not always this quiet. Okay. You're welcome. Seriously? Okay, I guess there's no questions. That was really easy. I will have a look on the back end and make sure that those videos are working for everyone. But if they're not working right away, it might be helpful to clear your cache and refresh. I'll just go over quickly. The deadline for registration this year is April 30th, which is earlier than previous years, but that's just to make sure that we can get resources to you on time this year. Everyone that has registered is approved. There is no kind of approval. If you're a new farm, we will be reaching out to you to get more information so we can fill up your profile. What is the most profitable activity? Tanis, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, sure, happy to. I will say, now this isn't an activity, but our protein farms are often the most successful. Many of the larger ones having $10,000 weekends, so that's not unheard of for those kinds of things. Really, our people are looking to buy food. They're looking to buy food to eat at that time. So anyone that's usually doing some sort of food activation, those are usually, I mean, it can be very low key stuff. You know, it can be, you know, chili sloppy joes went over amazingly well at some places. So they're looking for sort of casual food like that, and things to take with them. So eggs are a huge thing. Pretty much all of our consumers are leaving with those things. So those are the food pieces for activities. You know, there's a couple of catches, like hay rides are often very popular. Having said that, though, anything being pulled by a horse is not covered under an insurance policy. If it's pulled by a tractor, it is. You pick farms where you can get a bag, and they will sell a bag for you know, a flat fee, and then you get to go and harvest and stuff and pick them. So it's sort of a hands-on activity of harvesting. Those things go very, very well. The biggest thing that I would say is whatever it is you're selling, just make sure it's priced so people understand. The biggest negative feedback we have is sometimes when things are sold by weight, so they don't know until they get to the end what things are going to cost. That is sometimes a bit concerning, and we've had, you know, negative feedback on those things. But yeah, food is an easy one because everybody eats.
I think it also depends, and this is kind of a question that we get every year and we can't answer. So again, sorry for the useless answer, but it all depends on how many people you're going to get through, and how do we determine how many people are going to come visit your farm. And that is largely dependent on two factors: how close you are to a large center, and how many farms you have participating in Open Farm Days around you. So if you are close to Edmonton and there are 5 farms, located around you, you are more likely to have more visitors than if you were the only farm and you are 3 hours from any major center. But the food is a good one, as I participate in farm days every year as a consumer, and I eat at every farm I go to, I buy something to eat. Yeah, s'mores are a great idea. And is there any farms that kind of want to talk about what they do for in terms of for kind of economic availability, what they do to sell things? Because lots of farms have, you know, they have a music, they'll have you know, bonfires. Yes, s'mores are a great idea. What we do ask though, if we're doing food, that we keep the food local, so that we don't really want to be going to Superstore and buying hot dogs. It would be more of an authentic experience if they are local hot dogs, for example.
Yeah, if I can hop in for 2 seconds. Anytime there's a story to your food, it could be neighboring farms, it could be your own. You know, we sort of suggest if you are doing, like if you want to do hamburgers, obviously that's great because it could be Alberta beef. The really exciting ones are places that have done yak chili and yak burgers. And so anytime they get to try something different, if you're going to do, you know, a hot dog, I would say like do a local sausage from, you know, obviously the meats have to be inspected. But you can buy local things like that. So maybe if those are things that you don't produce yourself and you're able to sell, I'm happy to kind of walk through some ideas and thoughts, but it's really think about the food as being experiential, and that's where we have the biggest success for the farm partners.
And then if you have product on your farm, I know honey producers do well. Our producers that have wool, they sell their yarn, they sell socks, they sell things that they've made, those all do well. So thinking about your local products that you're selling on your farm. But if we are kind of looking at those avenues, all the information from AHS and AGLC are on the website, and those are things that you maybe need to think about now. Tanis, the timeline to get the paperwork approved is about 30 days?
It depends on what you're doing. So for AHS, it's 30 days, but you can start early. They don't want to see it more than 60 days out. So I usually recommend that we start at 60 days out. If you are looking to serve liquor, we probably want to start that conversation a little bit earlier. It takes 30 days as well. But if you are looking at different types of licenses, there's some other opportunities that might be more cost effective. So happy to walk through those with you as well.
Yeah. And all those forms are on the website. So if you have an opportunity to kind of go through them, they look intimidating, but they're not. They're way more intimidating than they are to fill out. So it's just a case of just hammering through them and filling out the forms. And the videos as well. So if you're thinking about having food and having liquor or beer on your farm as an economic avenue, then there are information on the back end of the website for you to learn more about how that works. And like Charlotte just mentioned here, they had local food and they had local food on your website. What does it say? You put, yeah, so they partnered with the local co-op, provided all the vegetables, Alberta grown, and local businesses supplied the barbecue. So there are ways around it. It just takes some time to think about how you would like to execute.
Yeah, great. And yeah, I just saw what you posted about the pricing. That's great. List your price per pound and then have a printed price on them where it's priced. That's the best thing to do, because then the consumers, you know, really know by the time they get to checkout. That's the sticker shock is sometimes something that happens when people don't know the price. So those sorts of things are really great and appreciated. I will jump in and say on the training, I did go onto the Open Farm Days site, and I saw where it says video unavailable, watch on YouTube. So if you actually just click on that link, it'll take you straight to the YouTube where you can watch that video. So it kind of shows that it's not there, but just click on it and it'll take you there.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Tanis. Can you bring in some of your neighbors to set up options? Yes, I would. There is a video on sampling on our website. So you probably want to go back and take a look at that. But I'm pretty sure, Tanis, that's I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. I should maybe go back and watch the video, but there is information on the video about sampling. But yes, you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you strongly recommend invite your neighbors, then come out, have their own tables set up so that they can sell their products. It helps your neighbor, and it also helps you have a bigger event, and it allows people to kind of dabble with Open Farm Days and try things. There are certain food items that you don't need any AHS approvals for, and there's some that you just need a simple form. So the forms don't cost anything, but when you've got whole fruits, vegetables, things like that, there's lots of things that don't require permits, and then there's some that do. So it's just kind of understanding which is which. But even understanding how to go through the process and submit to AHS, it's not a bad learning step as you start down that path of agritourism, because then you can start to expand what you can do. And it's not that challenging, and AHS are lovely to work with. They just want to help us make sure we've got safe food. So, striking up that relationship with your local AHS person is, a valuable use of your time, and they're wonderful to work with.
And I think now is also a good time, and it's kind of timely that we're doing this introduction to the back end of the site. Now is the best time to start thinking about what type of activities you would like to have on your farm. Sometimes there is that scramble in August where people are like, oh, I'm not going to worry about it in January. And then August, it's like, what the heck am I going to do? Now is a good time to think about, do you need volunteers, kind of roping them in now before everyone books their vacations, looking at ag societies, if that's an option to, to kind of reach out to your local ag societies. And that's something that we can help connect with. And getting those pieces in place so that you can enjoy your summer, and then it's not such a cluster by the time August comes around. So there was a question, I think, about, is it done in August? Yeah, so Open Farm Days weekend is August 19th and 20th this year. However, we are building our new website so that we are in ag tourism year round. That's still a work in progress because it's still a small industry in Alberta, but that's something that we're working towards with Alberta Ag Societies. And we will be creating, there's a new trail coming up on the website here right away. And so if you have any ag education or ag tourism activities or events happening at your farm, we always want to know so that we can help promote them as well. So always feel free to reach out if you've got something going on so that we can help promote it. Yeah, we are excited too, Dan. Thank you. Okay, and other questions about the back end of the website or about Open Farm Days in general? If you haven't already registered, deadline is April 30th of this year. It is all on the website. Would you be able to find any questions on how to access it on the back end? No? Okay. Again, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you're not already, oh, good. No, yeah, you know what? And to be honest, Jess, like, we're a great team. We're a small and mighty team. And what I love about getting some of these pieces worked out now so that you are more prepared and less nervous, and it's good to have those pieces. I just want to mention real quick while we're talking about events is that the mandate for Open Farm Days is to bring people out into rural Alberta, but also encourage agricultural education. So every event has to have an educational component to it. So whether that's a tour, whether that's a demonstration, there absolutely has to be an educational piece in your events during the day.
So Nicola, the question,
you need to just email us and we'll fix that up for you.
Yeah. And there was also a question about partnering with a for-profit. So feel free to, what was your question, I guess? Question about partnering with local nonprofit. From MJ?
You could unmute too if it's easier to ask it in real life.
Thank you. So good morning. So above I had said, if we partnered with a local nonprofit to do the barbecue, who do you have? Is it the farm and or the nonprofit? So I was thinking of the I can't think of the name of the harvest, the nonprofits, you know, the HH one, the H for H. The kids usually go to the,
Oh, 4-H?
yes, 4-H. I knew it was something H anyways. So let's say the kids are another nonprofit group is, you know, wanting to raise some monies and they have food to tell them they'd like to do a barbecue, but they need to do it at a larger event. Who is then the one responsible for the license? Is it both parties or one or the other?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you are having something, if it's on your farm, then you become the host and they become the vendor. So that would be the relationship. It'd be host and vendor. And there is a special event license for that. And it talks about sort of your responsibilities, their responsibilities. But technically, that would be the relationship.
Thank you.
I just want to mention, we do have a customized website, a customized workshop. Now it's in Edmonton, and I know not everyone is able to come to Edmonton, but there is a workshop coming up with a speaker coming from the States. His name is John Shallard, and rural tourism and destination marketing is his thing. And he came up to Edmonton in 2019 to speak with us, and I had the pleasure of being part of that. And he does speak to maybe the beginner to the medium people that are looking at ag tourism. So we're not talking about the bigger operations, we're talking about local operations and how to drive traffic to your farm. So if this is something that you want to feel more comfortable or want to learn more about, this session is going to be a full day session. It's at the River Cree Casino here in Edmonton, or I think it's in Parkland County, but it's the same. And I put the link in the chat there so you can take a look, and it includes lunch. But what he is really, I'll just kind of say, is he has a toolkit that we will be able to apply directly to it. So even if you're brand new into this, it is definitely something to think about. He gives you a lot of ideas of how to drive traffic to your farm and create more buzz around your location as well. And he will be using Open Farm Days as an example. Oh, does everyone see the question here from Charlotte? So our county is offering funding for events like this. So reach out to your county to see if they have something similar, which is a really good point, because Open Farm Days can be expensive depending on what you're planning on doing. Reaching out to your county now would be a good time because it's 8 months out to see what they're offering in terms of tourism and ag tourism, or even agriculture, if there's some funding like that. Thank you, Charlotte. The John Shallard is not part of the conference. John Shallard's on the Thursday, and then the ACE conference, which is the Alberta Association of Ag Societies. So the Ag Society conference is starts on Friday, so it's the day before. Okay, if there's, what is the Ag Society conference? I'm glad you asked. I will have to find it. And just give me 1 second. Unless, Susan, do you have the website up handy?
For the ACE conference?
Yeah.
No, but I can grab it. So the Ag Society conference is an annual conference that we hold the beginning of February for the 291 ag societies in the province of Alberta, and it runs on Friday and Saturday.
All right, maybe I can do a follow-up email and I'll include all these links if that would be helpful. Yes, okay, perfect. Okay, I will do that. So if there's no many questions, I knew today was going to be a quick one. There's not a lot to it, but I just wanted to make sure that we're highlighting all these resources for you. We do have all this information. Yep, it will be recorded. It is being recorded, and I will post it on YouTube and send it out to you. So yeah, so I will have that up by this afternoon. all things going well. And so I knew that today was being, that today would be quick, but it's important information just so that you're not out there in the ether thinking that you're working on this to your own. We do have resources for you to help you through this, including checklists, including, there's a neat one that's like, hey, you're 4 months out, what should you be working on right now? So all that information is there to support you on this. And then if you can't find it, we are here to help you as well. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. It was nice to see you all. Hope you all had a good holiday. And oh, Rick, I knew you'd be here. Sorry, buddy. We were always trying to pick on you. So we will talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Happy planning.